The Isle of Man TT is unlike any other race in the world. For more than a century, riders have come to this small island to challenge one of the most demanding and dangerous courses in motorsport. The mountain course stretches for nearly 38 miles and includes more than 200 corners, winding through villages, over bridges, past stone walls, and alongside telephone poles. There are no large runoff areas and very little room for error. At racing speeds that can exceed 200 miles per hour, a mistake that might be minor on a closed circuit can become life-changing here. Yet despite the risks, riders continue to return. They come because of the challenge, the history, and the feeling of mastering a course that has tested generations of racers. But every so often, the course reminds everyone just how unforgiving it can be. Some crashes have become part of TT history not because of sensational footage alone, but because of the courage, resilience, and determination shown by the riders involved. Today, we're looking at 5 of the most memorable and widely discussed Isle of Man TT crashes and incidents that left a lasting mark on the sport. Number 5. Conor Cummins, 2010. In 2010, local rider Conor Cummins was considered one of the brightest stars in road racing. Racing on home roads gave him an intimate understanding of the mountain course, and many fans believed he had the talent to challenge for major victories. During the senior TT, however, disaster struck near the Verandah section of the course. At extremely high speed, Cummins lost control and was thrown violently from his motorcycle. The crash was captured on camera and quickly became one of the most shocking pieces of footage ever associated with the TT. The bike tumbled through the air while debris scattered across the hillside. To spectators watching in real time, the accident looked catastrophic. Cummins suffered multiple serious injuries, including fractures and internal trauma. Recovery was long and difficult. For months, questions surrounded whether he would ever return to the level he had reached before the crash. But what made this story memorable was not the accident itself, it was the comeback. Through determination and rehabilitation, Cummins returned to competitive racing and continued to compete at the TT. His story became an example of the resilience that many road racers possess. Number 4. Guy Martin, Ballaugh Bridge, 2015. Few riders in modern TT history have captured the public's imagination quite like Guy Martin. Known for his personality, honesty, and fearless riding style, Martin became one of the sport's most recognizable figures. In 2015, during practice, he experienced a dramatic crash at the famous Ballaugh Bridge. Ballaugh Bridge is one of the most iconic locations on the course. Riders become airborne before landing and immediately preparing for the next section of road. When Martin's motorcycle landed awkwardly after the jump, control was lost almost instantly. The resulting crash was violent and heavily damaged the machine. What stood out to many fans was Martin's response afterward. Rather than focusing on fear or frustration, he approached the situation with the same determination and practicality that had made him so popular. The incident highlighted a reality that every TT rider understands. Even the smallest error, bump, or mechanical issue can have serious consequences when speeds are so high and the surroundings so unforgiving. Number 3. Todd's 2018 practice crash. In 2018, Todd arrived at the Isle of Man TT as an ambitious newcomer determined to prove himself on the world's most challenging road racing course. During practice week, Todd was steadily building speed and confidence. Lap after lap, he was pushing harder, learning the course and chasing valuable experience. Then, everything changed in an instant. While pushing at high speed during practice, Todd lost control and crashed heavily. The accident brought an abrupt end to the session as marshals rushed to the scene. The footage is a reminder of how quickly things can go wrong at the TT. One moment a rider is fully focused on the racing line. The next, they're fighting to survive. For a newcomer making his TT debut, a crash like this can destroy confidence. Many riders never fully recover mentally from a major accident during their first experience of the mountain course. But Todd wasn't ready to give up. Instead of allowing the crash to define his career, he came back stronger. He continued learning, improving, and proving that he belonged among the sport's elite riders. What makes this story memorable isn't just the crash itself, it's the comeback. The rider who hit the ground during his debut year would go on to become one of the biggest names in modern road racing and a TT winner. At the Isle of Man TT, crashes can end dreams. For Todd, this one became the beginning of something much bigger. Number 2. David Datzer 11th Milestone Crash 2024. By 2024, German road racer David Datzer had already built a reputation as a fearless competitor. But during the Isle of Man TT, he experienced a moment that showed just how quickly the mountain course can punish even experienced riders. Datzer was competing in the Super Twin TT and was beginning to find a strong rhythm on the Payton machine. According to his team, he was really gelling with the bike and pushing harder with every mile. Then he arrived at the 11th milestone. The 11th milestone is one of those sections that can look deceptively simple on camera. Riders arrive carrying significant speed before committing to a technical sequence where precision is everything. As Datzer attacked the section, disaster struck. The front tire lost grip in a fourth gear corner, instantly taking the motorcycle away from him. At TT speeds, there is almost no time to react when the front end folds. One moment you're perfectly online, and the next, you're sliding toward the edge of the course. The impact was violent. The Payton machine was heavily damaged and caught fire after the crash. Marshals rushed to the scene as spectators watched in silence, unsure of the rider's condition. Given the speed involved and the location of the accident, many feared the worst. But then came the good news. Datzer survived. He was taken to hospital shaken, bruised, and battered, but remarkably escaped any major life-threatening injuries. His team later confirmed that although the motorcycle was destroyed, the rider's well-being was the only thing that truly mattered. What makes this crash memorable isn't just the impact itself, it's the reminder that even when a rider feels completely comfortable and is building confidence, the Isle of Man TT can change everything in a split second. Number 1. Hutchinson Mountain Mile Crash 2017. By 2017, Hutchinson had already become one of the greatest comeback stories in motorcycle racing. Years earlier, a horrific leg injury had nearly ended his career. He endured more than 30 operations, years of pain, and countless hours of rehabilitation. Most riders would never have returned to the top. But Hutchinson did more than return. He came back and started winning again. At the 2017 Isle of Man TT, he looked unstoppable. Riding for Tyco BMW, Hutchinson had already won both the Superbike TT and Superstock TT. Heading into the prestigious Senior TT, he was chasing another victory and adding to his growing legend. The race quickly turned into a battle between Hutchinson and Peter Hickman. Lap after lap, the two riders traded the lead. At over 130 miles per hour, they were separated by fractions of a second. Every corner mattered. Every braking zone mattered. Neither rider was willing to back down. Then, on lap 2, everything changed. As Hutchinson charged across the mountain section near the 27th milestone, disaster struck. Without warning, the front tire suffered a puncture. At those speeds, there was almost nothing a rider could do. The tire deformed, grip disappeared, and the BMW was suddenly out of control. Later, Hutchinson himself said, "I didn't stand a chance." The bike crashed heavily. Marshals rushed to the scene as red flags were shown around the entire course. Spectators knew immediately that something serious had happened. The race was stopped while medical crews attended to the fallen rider. The injuries were severe. Hutchinson fractured his left femur, the same leg that had already suffered devastating damage years earlier. For fans who knew his history, it felt cruel. After everything he had fought through, the same leg had once again been shattered. Yet what people remember most isn't the crash. It's the determination that followed. The Isle of Man TT is more than just a race. It's a place where riders push themselves to the absolute limit, knowing that one small mistake can change everything in an instant. The crashes we've seen today are not remembered simply because they were dramatic. They're remembered because of the courage shown afterward. Conor Cummins, Guy Martin, Davey Todd, David Datzer, and Hutchinson all faced moments that could have ended their racing careers. Yet each of them showed incredible determination in the face of adversity. The mountain course doesn't care who you are. Rookie or legend, every rider faces the same roads, the same risks, and the same challenge. That's what makes the TT so unique and so respected around the world. More than 100 years after it began, the Isle of Man TT continues to captivate fans, not because of the danger, but because of the extraordinary men and women willing to take it on. So, which of these crashes shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more stories from the world's most dangerous motorcycle race. Until next time, ride safe and respect the riders who dare to challenge the mountain course.